Blades fans, subscribe to Blades Ramble. Up the Blades.
What is happening, Blades, and welcome back to the Blades Ramble. I'm, of course, Jimmy, and we're proudly sponsored by Action Coach Sheffield. I went live the other night without really knowing what to do or how to feel, and I'm still in a very similar mindset. And I know a lot of us are the same. We don't really know how to process the news about George Baldock. I think Chris Wilder's interview on the Sheffield United YouTube channel was fantastic and summed up exactly how we're all feeling, a little bit numb, like it's not really real. 31 years old. It's been tough. It's been tough for everybody, and I want to firstly thank everybody that's reached out to me personally and offered their support, because there's been an awful lot of people. But I would like to reciprocate that and say, if anybody's struggling out there, then my inboxes are always open, and we need to stick together through what has been a very difficult time for our football club, not just with George, but also Johnny and Maddie. And there'll be other people as well along the way that have lost Blades that aren't as well known, but part of the Blades family. So things are tough, and sticking together will help us get through it a little bit better. But I thought today it'd be poignant and right to try and put a smile back on some people's faces, and by that I want to pay tribute to George Baldock where we can. And I've just asked a few of our ramblers if they'd like to offer a story or their favourite memory of George. So George, this one's for you, pal. Thoughts with your family and friends.
There's so many different occasions when you could look at George and how he exemplified what it was to be a Sheffield United player. I don't think I could refer to any specific incident as a particular memory. But what I will say is that when the players step out on the pitch, he epitomised everything through the game that I feel and hear when they do that. Just the heart, the passion, the will to win. He knew what it was to be a United supporter, and he gave everything for the red and white stripes. Sleep easy, buddy.
One of my favourite memories of George was the goal he scored against Swansea, that terrific right foot. I think it was his right foot against Swansea, which hit into top corner at Bramall Lane end. And he comes running across the pitch, down the touchline, and celebrating with all the staff in the dugout just below where I sit. It was a brilliant moment. There's one of many you can remember about George. But one of the things we've always got to remember, George came from a club down south, MK Dons, and he come up to Sheffield United, and he embraced our club with his commitment, his determination, his connection with the fans, and he was just a great player for Sheffield United, and helped us through those tough seasons back into the Prem. We'll always have fond memories of George, how much he embraced everybody at the football club, and it's a sad loss. So rest in peace, George. Thanks for the memories.
Hi guys, I just want to say my two favourite moments of George Baldock was when he scored the volley against Swansea. What a goal. It's probably one of the best I've ever seen going at Bramall Lane. And the away match when Kadri scored in the last moments. He was getting grief from the right-sided stand all game, and then the fan come to the edge of the stand and got the ball and chucked it back into the crowd instead of giving it back to George. After when Kadri scored last-minute winner, George went over to that stand and gave them fully what for. They were my two great moments of George Baldock. Another thing I just want to say is, he was never born in Sheffield, he never supported Sheffield United, but he wore that shirt like he was a diehard Blade, and it leaves a proper Blade. He understand what it meant to be a Blade, and he just absolutely was a phenomenal footballer and an even better man in person. I'm devastated by this news, and I'm still gutted. Rest in peace, Starman. Love you, George Baldock. Thank you for everything, mate.
Hi, Blades. The thing for me about George was his attitude, the way he defended. 100% every single game. Can't recall a single match where I didn't think that he put absolutely everything out there. He got better and better throughout his Blades career. Came on so much and really, really improved, and then got obviously recognised by the Greek national team. The goal he scored, rifled in the top corner and then ran down the touchline, was a real highlight for me. But I just wanted to say, rest in peace, and let's get a good win at Ellen Road for him, boys. That's all I want now.
Georgie Baldock, where do you start? The man just epitomised what it is to play for Sheffield United. Passion, determination, aggression, and you knew every time he put on the shirt, he would give 120% for the club. He was red and white through and through, forged in steel. One of the best right backs I've ever seen play for our club, and he will be missed. My thoughts go out to your friends, your family through this unimaginable time for you. My favourite memories of Starman, got to be the goal at Swansea, of course, but for me, the Mr. Socko celebration with Billy Sharp just epitomised everything that squad was. Unity, and they would just do everything for each other. You will be missed.
First and foremost, all thoughts go out to George's family, to everyone at Sheffield United. Favourite memory of George, everything. When he put on that shirt, he absolutely embodied everything that we as fans want. He was committed, give 110%, and you couldn't ask for anything more from him. I once met George, and he had all the time in the world for us. He was brilliant and really enjoyed his company.
My story about George will, if you've been watching the channel for a little while, probably won't surprise you. It's not actually anything to do with on the pitch. It's one that happened recently at the last Player of the Year awards. I'm sorry, Dave, I've got to tell it. We're at the Player of the Year awards, and I went with Dave, now known as Dave the Nose Leary. And most of the players, and especially the manager, did not want to be there. And understandably so. The season had been horrific, really, really poor on the pitch. And it seemed a little bit of a tick box exercise. Well, it was a tick box exercise that there was even a do, because what had we done that season to be proud of? Not an awful lot in truth, which makes it even more amazing as to how well we're doing now. But when you're in and amongst the players, you want to sort of be able to mingle a little bit and sort of use that opportunity to speak to them. And at that stage, we knew a lot of the old guard would be leaving. So we knew McBurney was still deep in discussions. Egan, we thought, might be staying, but his contract was up. Ollie Norwood would go in. George Baldock was going. So it was an opportunity also to thank them for their service to the football club, because it was the end of an era, really. That's the cycle of that team. Although we'd had a really poor season, they've given us amazing memories at our football club, and it was a golden opportunity to thank them. The first player we really get a chance to chat to was George. I'm fortunate enough to be able to thank him for what he's doing, and he's spending a fair bit of time with us. He didn't need to. And he was like, mate, I will always be a fan of this football club. I'll be watching out for your results. It was just a deal that I couldn't turn down. He'd been offered Champions League football in Greece. And the club weren't really that forthcoming initially with an offer, and he said, and that I just could not turn it down. And I was sort of saying to him, nobody begrudges you this. You deserve this move. You don't owe us anything. It's been absolutely brilliant just to have you as part of our club. And he was like, mate, it's a club that I'll always support the Blades, and I'll be back as a fan. And that was, a nice little bow on it for me. Where a case of, I felt at peace that I'd managed to at least say my piece. Not that it necessarily matters to him, but I wanted him to know from me anyway. Dave, only known as Dave Leary at this point, not Dave the Nose Leary. It's his opportunity to tell him everything he wants to tell him in terms of Thank you for your service. Thank you for everything you've done for our football club. Thank you for, well, he sidesteps in, sort of slopes in from the side and says, Can I just say, you smell incredible. And he will, thanks. And he went, I'm really into me fragrances and stuff. What is it? What are you wearing? Can I ask what you're wearing? And I'm like, mate, I don't know. My missus picks it for me. I'm not entirely sure. I think it's so-and-so, whatever it was. So that were it then for the rest of the night. And whenever I went past George, I was like, oh, you smell incredible. And he would just shake his head and smiling. That is my favourite memory of George. And it was a brief interaction, but something I will cherish forever. And obviously, in addition to that, all the fantastic memories he gave us as a player. It's weird because as much as we don't know him, and a lot of we'll obviously acknowledge we don't claim to know him, but you feel like you know him because you've watched him so much and so often. So, and he gave absolutely everything for the shirt, didn't he? Absolutely everything. So I just want to say thank you for everything, George. May you rest in peace.
Now, a lot of you will know the time that I met George Baldock, but for those who don't, it was at the end of season awards last season when I was there with Jimmy. And we approached George, and you couldn't wish to meet a nicer guy. He must have taken 10 to 15 minutes to talk to us, almost as if he was talking as a fan of us as supporters rather than as us as fans of a player. Wasn't in a rush to get away. Was so grateful for the time that he'd had at United. And I remember being stood there and thinking, this is such a nice guy, good-looking bloke. And I was like, and then I caught a whiff of him and thought, God, he even smells amazing. So that's when I turned around to Jimmy and said, he even smells amazing, which, has obviously, as time's gone on, stitched me up a little bit. But as somebody who's a bit of a fragrance fan, I had to ask him, what it is he was wearing, which he couldn't remember. He knew which house it was from, but he took it in good spirit, and that sort of stuck with me. Obviously he'd left the club at that point, or was leaving the club at that point. But what a player he'd been for us, and that was just that sort of lasting memory for me. So I think at times we've missed him. We will miss him going forward. I'm just, desperately sorry for his family, his young lad, and for every sort of United fan as well. It's a loss we're all feeling. So, but let's override that by trying to remember, happy memories, some of the goals he scored, some of the performances, some of the anger. So for all those things, thank you, Starman.
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 There's a starman waiting in the sky. He'd like to come and meet us, but he thinks he'd blow our minds. There's a starman waiting in the sky. He told us not to blow it, 'cause he knows it's all worthwhile. There's a starman running down the right. His name is Georgie Baldock, and he's fucking dynamite. There's a starman running down the right. His name is Georgie Baldock, and he's fucking dynamite. Oh, let the children boogie, let the children use it. Let all the children boogie.
To all you Sheffield United fans, it's a huge thank you from me. You've been absolutely amazing. Your support has been, so much more than I ever expected. And like I said, you're the best around. Keep supporting the team, the staff, and hopefully the club can get back to where we all want it to be. And like I said, I leave here as a massive fan of the club, and yeah, just good luck and thank you.